When I was a kid, Thanksgiving meant the smell of roasted turkey filling every corner of our small house. It meant laughter, warmth, and that feeling of belonging that only family can give. I always believed that no matter what happened in life, home was where I could return. This year I drove 3 hours with my girlfriend carrying wine flowers and hope. But when that front door opened, my father stood there blocking my way. Behind him, my brother Tyler grinned like he had won something. Before I share what happened next, let me know where you are watching from today. Hit that like button and subscribe if you have ever felt like an outsider in your own family. Stay with me until the end because what happened that night changed everything I thought I knew about family. My name is Chandler and I grew up in Columbus, Ohio in a working-class neighborhood where everyone knew everyone. Our house was a modest two-story place with a small front yard that my mother tried to keep nice despite our tight budget. My father Frank worked as a plumber for over 30 years. He was the kind of man who believed that actions spoke louder than words, though his actions toward me often felt like silence. He valued pride above almost everything, and he never wanted to appear weak or dependent on anyone. My mother Linda worked at the local grocery store stocking shelves and running the register. She was kind and gentle, the peacemaker in our family. But her gentleness came with a cost. She never stood up to my father, not once, even when she knew he was wrong. She would just look away, change the subject, or disappear into the kitchen. Then there was Tyler, my younger brother by 3 years. From the moment he was born, Tyler was the golden child. When he broke a neighbor's window playing baseball, I was the one who got grounded for not watching him. When he failed classes in high school, my parents blamed the teachers. When I worked 2 jobs to put myself through college, they barely noticed. But when Tyler got a participation trophy at his community softball league, they framed it and hung it in the living room. Growing up, I heard one phrase more than any other. Chandler, you are the older brother. You have to be responsible. You have to set an example. You have to sacrifice. And I did. I sacrificed my childhood being Tyler's keeper. I sacrificed my teenage years working to save money. I sacrificed holidays and weekends to help around the house while Tyler played video games in his room. When I turned 16, I got my first real job at a construction site sweeping floors and hauling materials. By 18, I was working full-time while attending community college at night. I paid for every single credit hour myself. No help from my parents, no student loans, just my own sweat. I studied construction management because I wanted to build things, create something lasting. It took me 6 years to finish what most people do in 4, but I did it. When I walked across that stage to get my diploma, my parents were not there. Tyler had a softball game that day, and apparently that took priority. After graduation, I started at the bottom of a construction company in Cleveland, 3 hours from home. I worked my way up from laborer to foreman to project manager. I saved every penny I could, learned everything about the business, and after 10 years of grinding, I started my own construction company at age 30. Today, at 32, I employ 20 people, and we have contracts across 3 counties. I built this from nothing, with no inheritance, no connections, no lucky breaks. But here is something my family never knew. 4 years ago, I discovered that my parents were 3 months behind on their mortgage. They were about to lose the house I grew up in. I did not confront them about it. I knew my father would never accept help from his son. His pride would not allow it. So I set up an anonymous payment through a third party. Every month I paid their mortgage without them knowing. They thought the bank had restructured their loan. They never questioned it. 2 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. I found out through a cousin who mentioned it casually, not knowing I had not been told. My parents never called me. They never asked for help. So I contacted the hospital directly and arranged to pay for all her treatments. I asked them to keep my name confidential, to say it was covered by insurance or charity. And they did. My mother went through surgery and chemotherapy believing some program was helping her. She never knew it was her own son. Why did I hide it? Because I knew my father. Accepting money from his child would feel like admitting he failed as a provider. It would humiliate him. I did not want his gratitude. I just wanted my mother to live. I wanted my parents to keep their home. Love does not need a receipt. Then I met Megan. She is 30 years old, works at a law firm downtown, and she is the first person who ever truly saw me. Not Chandler the provider, Not Chandler, the responsible one, but just me. She knows about my family, about the favoritism, about the secrets I carry. She listened without judgment and loved me anyway. About 3 months before Thanksgiving, things with my family started getting strange. Tyler began posting subtle jabs on social media. Comments like some people forget where they came from or money changes people and not for the better. He never tagged me, but I knew. Whenever I called home, Tyler would grab the phone and make snide remarks. My father became distant, barely speaking to me. Even my mother seemed nervous, her voice trailing off mid-sentence like she wanted to say something but could not. A month before Thanksgiving, my mother called to invite me home for the holiday. Her voice was odd, hesitant, almost apologetic. But I brushed it off. I was excited. This year I planned to bring Megan to meet my family. I also had a surprise. I was going to tell my parents that I had paid off the remaining balance on their mortgage. The house was theirs free and clear. I thought it would be a moment of joy of connection. I thought maybe finally they would see me. Thanksgiving morning. Megan and I woke up early to make the 3-hour drive from Cleveland to Columbus. The November air was crisp and cold, the kind of weather that makes you crave warm kitchens and hot cider. I was nervous but hopeful, telling Megan stories from my childhood as we drove. The time Tyler and I built a snowman so tall it blocked the mailman. The year Mom burned the turkey and we ate pizza instead, laughing about it for years. I wanted her to see the good parts, the memories that made this family worth fighting for. Megan listened, but I could see the concern in her eyes. She had heard too many other stories too. The times I was overlooked, the favoritism, the subtle cruelties. At one point she asked me gently, "Are you sure they will welcome me? Are you sure this is a good idea?" I squeezed her hand and told her everything would be fine. I believed it. I needed to believe it. We stopped at a flower shop to buy a bouquet for my mother. Yellow roses, her favorite. Megan picked out a nice bottle of wine. In the back seat, I had wrapped gifts for everyone, including a new toolkit for my father and a gift card for Tyler, even though he probably did not deserve it. I wanted this day to be perfect. When we pulled up to my childhood home, I noticed several cars in the driveway. Tyler's truck, my aunt's sedan, a few others I recognized from past gatherings. The house looked warm, lights glowing in the windows, and I could smell turkey even from outside. For a moment I felt like a kid again, excited to be home. We walked up the front steps together, Megan carrying the flowers, me holding the wine and gifts. I knocked on the door, my heart beating faster than it should. Footsteps approached. The door opened. My father stood in the doorway, blocking the entrance. His face was stone, his eyes cold. Behind him I could see Tyler, and the moment our eyes met, Tyler smiled. Not a welcoming smile. A triumphant one, the kind of smile someone wears when they have won a game you did not know you were playing. "We do not want to see your face." Those were my father's first words to me. Not hello, not happy Thanksgiving. Just rejection, plain and cold. I stood frozen, my mind unable to process what was happening. "Dad, what are you talking about?" "It is Thanksgiving." I came home. My father's jaw tightened. "Tyler told us everything. About how you think you are better than us. How you look down on this family. How every time you come here it is just to show off." I turned to Tyler, who shrugged casually, still wearing that poisonous grin. "I just told them the truth, big brother. You have always thought you were too good for us." My eyes searched for my mother. She was standing in the living room, partially visible through the doorway. Her face was sad, conflicted, but she said nothing. She did not step forward. She did not defend me. She just stood there, a ghost in her own home. That silence hurt more than my father's words. I could fight against accusations. I could argue with Tyler's lies, but I could not fight my mother's silence. It was surrender, and it broke something in me. In that moment, 1,000 things rushed through my mind. I wanted to shout the truth. I wanted to tell them that I had been paying their mortgage for 4 years, that I had paid for Mom's cancer treatment, that while Tyler borrowed money and blamed everyone else for his failures, I was quietly making sure they did not lose everything. I wanted to scream, "Do you have any idea what I have done for this family?" But I looked at my father's closed face, at Tyler's smirk, at my mother's averted eyes, and I realized something. They had already made their choice. They chose to believe lies over 10 years of my actions. They chose Tyler as they always had. And if I had to beg and plead and prove myself just to be loved, then what kind of love was that? So I did something that surprised even me. I smiled, not a bitter smile or a sarcastic one, a genuine, peaceful smile. I took a breath and said, "I understand. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone." Then I turned around, took Megan's hand, and walked away. Behind me, I heard Tyler laugh. "Yeah, go back to your fancy life," he shouted. I did not look back. I just kept walking, one foot in front of the other, until we reached the car. The drive back was silent for the first 10 minutes. I gripped the steering wheel, staring at the road, trying to hold myself together. Then the tears came, and I could not stop them. Not tears of anger, but of grief. Grief for the family I thought I had. Grief for the father who was supposed to protect me. Grief for the mother who was supposed to speak up. Grief for the brother who was supposed to be my ally. Megan did not try to fix it. She just held my hand and said, "I am here. You did the right thing. You walked away with your dignity." We stopped at a small diner on the highway and ordered turkey sandwiches. It was the saddest Thanksgiving meal I had ever eaten, sitting in a booth while other families celebrated together. But at least I was not alone. At least I had someone who loved me without conditions. That evening we made it back to our apartment in Cleveland. Megan ordered pizza, and we sat on the couch watching television without really watching. I tried not to think about what was happening at my parents' house. Were they laughing about me? Did they feel any guilt at all? Around 8 o'clock, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. Mom calling. I stared at it until it stopped ringing. Then it rang again, and again. Then a text message appeared. "Chandler, please call me back. Something has happened." I ignored it. 5 minutes later, my father called. That was unusual enough to make me pause, but I let it go to voicemail. Then impossibly, Tyler called. My brother had not voluntarily called me in years. Something was wrong. I listened to my father's voicemail. His voice was shaking, nothing like the cold, hard man who had blocked my entrance just hours ago. "Son, please call back. We need to talk. Please." Curiosity won. I called back. My mother answered, crying so hard she could barely speak. "Chandler, the bank called. About the mortgage. They said you have been paying it for 4 years. Is that true?" I said nothing. Then the hospital called. She continued, her voice breaking. "About my treatment. They confirmed everything was paid by you. All of it." "Chandler, why did you not tell us?" I let the silence stretch for a moment before answering. "Because I knew Dad would not accept it. Because I did not want you to feel like you owed me anything. I just wanted to help." My mother sobbed louder. Then I heard my father's voice as he took the phone. "Chandler." His tone was completely different now, stripped of pride and filled with something I had never heard before. "You paid for everything." "Yes, Dad. I did." A long pause. I heard him breathing heavily. "And today I stood at that door and told you we did not want to see you." "Yes, you did." The silence was heavy. Then Tyler's voice came through, frantic and stripped of its usual arrogance. "I grabbed the phone," he said. "I did not know. I swear I did not know about any of this." "Of course you did not know, Tyler. You never paid attention to anyone but yourself." "I was jealous," he admitted, his voice cracking. "You made it. You built something. And I kept failing. I thought if I could turn them against you, maybe I would finally be the favorite for the right reasons. But I did not know you were carrying us this whole time." I listened without interrupting. My brother was crying now, something I had not witnessed since we were children. "Please come back," Tyler begged. "We were wrong. I was wrong." My father took the phone again. "Chandler, I owe you an apology, a real one. I let Tyler get in my head. But more than that, I was jealous of you too. Jealous of me. You did everything I could not," he said slowly. You built your own success. You took care of us without asking for credit. I spent my whole life believing a man should provide for his family, and here you were, my own son, providing for me. It made me feel small, and instead of being proud, I pushed you away. I sat in silence, tears running down my face, not tears of pain anymore, but something deeper, years of buried feelings rising to the surface. Finally, I spoke. I need time. I will keep taking care of Mom. That will never change. But I cannot come back tonight. I need to think. My father's voice was quiet. I understand. I will wait. However long it takes. The call ended. I put down the phone and Megan wrapped her arms around me. They finally see you, she whispered. You did not have to prove anything. The truth came out on its own. I nodded, but the victory felt hollow. Because winning does not erase wounds. It just means you survived them. The weeks after Thanksgiving were strange. My phone filled with messages from my parents and Tyler apologies and updates and attempts at connection. I read them all, but I did not respond right away. I needed space to process everything. Megan was patient, never pushing me to forgive or forget. She understood that healing takes time, and you cannot rush it just because other people are ready. During those quiet weeks, I did a lot of thinking. I realized that my whole life I had been chasing recognition. Every promotion, every success, every secret sacrifice was partially driven by a hope that someday my family would see me, really see me. But they never did. And the painful truth was that I could not control whether they ever would. The only thing I could control was how I lived my life. One evening, about a week after Thanksgiving, someone knocked on my door. I opened it to find my father standing there alone, looking older and more tired than I had ever seen him. I came to apologize, he said, face to face, like a man should. I invited him in, and we sat across from each other in my living room. He spoke slowly, carefully, like each word cost him something. He told me about his own father, a harsh man who never showed affection. He told me about growing up believing that emotions were weakness. He told me how my success had threatened everything he believed about himself. I am not making excuses, he said. I am just trying to explain. I was wrong, Chandler. You are the best son any father could ask for. I was too blind and too proud to see it. For the first time in my life, my father looked vulnerable. And for the first time, I saw him not as the man who hurt me, but as a flawed human being carrying his own wounds. 2 weeks later, Tyler came to visit. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something that looked like genuine shame. He sat in my kitchen and confessed everything. The jealousy that had festered for years. The lies he told to turn our parents against me. The way he convinced himself that I was the villain because it was easier than admitting he was failing. How did you do it? He asked. How did you keep helping us when we treated you like that? Because you are my family, I told him. I did not help you to get thanked. I helped because it was the right thing to do. Tyler stared at the floor. I do not deserve to be your brother. Maybe not. But you are still my brother. And people can change if they really want to. I offered him something I had been thinking about. Not money, but a job. An entry-level position at my company, starting from the bottom just like I had. If he wanted to change his life, he would have to earn it. To my surprise, he agreed. My mother and I met at a coffee shop a few days later. She hugged me for a long time, crying into my shoulder. She apologized for her silence, for always choosing peace over justice, for never standing up when I needed her. I did not need you to fight, Dad, I told her gently. I just needed you to say one word. Just one word to show you were on my side. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I know. I was a coward. But I will not be silent anymore. I promise. We talked about her health, about her treatments, about the future. I promised to visit more often, but on my terms. Not as the forgotten son trying to earn his place, but as a man who knew his worth. A year passed. Then another Thanksgiving arrived. But this time the dinner was at my apartment in Cleveland, a smaller gathering. Just me, Megan, my parents, and Tyler. No extended family. No drama, no pretending. When we sat down to eat, my father stood up and raised his glass. "I want to make a toast," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "To Chandler, who carried this family when we did not deserve it, who kept giving even when we pushed him away. I am proud of you, son. I should have said it years ago." I looked around the table at faces that had changed. My mother smiled with tears in her eyes. Tyler nodded with genuine respect. My father, for once, was not hiding behind pride. It was not a perfect moment. The wounds were still there beneath the surface, but they were healing. Slowly, imperfectly, but healing. Looking back, I learned something important. Sometimes walking away is the only way to make people see what they are losing. Not as revenge, but as self-respect. You cannot force anyone to value you. You can only decide how much you are willing to sacrifice for people who do not appreciate it. I also learned that forgiveness is not about pretending the pain never happened. It is about choosing freedom over bitterness. My family hurt me deeply, but holding on to that anger would only keep me trapped. Letting go was not for them. It was for me. And here is the truth I carry with me now. Family is not just about blood. It is about who shows up, who sees you, who chooses you even when it is hard. Megan taught me that. And slowly my own family is learning it too. So if you are out there feeling unseen by the people who should love you most, know this. Your worth is not determined by their blindness. Keep being who you are. Keep doing what is right. And sometimes you have to walk away so they can finally see what was standing in front of them all along. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been the one in your family who gave everything and got nothing in return? Have you had to walk away to protect yourself? Drop a comment below and share your story. If this touched you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more real stories about real life. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, share this video with them. Thank you so much for being here with me. I wish you the strength to know your worth and the courage to walk toward the people who truly see you. Take care of yourself.